Hello and welcome once again. So I've got on the screen, and today I want to talk about energy and energy use across the world. So this picture or this map that you're looking at is the world map, and it shows the dark areas where there are no people living in the dark areas because it's all water, it's all sea, it's all oceans rather than sea. So all of these are oceans, and what you get are the planets. But on the planets, you can see uh, the North Americans or United States of America, America and Canada are quite lit up, as you can see. And then you've got Miami over there, and then you've got South America, and you've got Cuba over there. Somewhere there's Cuba. And then you've got a bit of light along the coastal areas. Okay. And then you look at Europe, Western Europe. There is a lot of light over there. Okay, a lot of lighting. And across to Eastern Europe, there is less as you go along here. Then you've got quite a bit in India. And then you can see Japan there. Japan is quite lit up. Okay, and these areas around here. Australia, a little bit by the coastal areas. Okay, and then these areas around here. Right. So basically, this map has got me going because if you look at Africa, there is a little bit. Let's zoom in a little bit there. See if we can zoom in. It's not zooming in. Okay. I was hoping it would zoom in, and then we would see that in Southern Africa, for example, if you look at Northern Africa, there is Egypt over there. Okay. There is quite a lot of a light at the top there, and then you've got the coastal areas a bit lit up. Then you've got Southern Africa, and you've got Africa specifically. I mean South Africa, and South Africa is quite lit up. Okay, it's almost comparable to some uh, other parts of the world which are also lit up. Okay, so this map generally shows the amount of energy that is being used in the different parts of the world. And you can tell because the strongest economies are in America, Western Europe, and around Japan over there, and obviously China. Okay, China is quite a lot of this, so it's lit up quite a bit as well. In fact, quite a lot. So what this picture tells you is that the stronger the economy or the more energy they're using, then the stronger that economy. Okay, so it's not surprising that the countries which are controlling the most amount of energy are also the most developed. Okay, so there's a correlation, a strong one, between the GDP per capita, the energy consumption per capita, the economy, and also the amount of energy that is being consumed. So one person in the West, or one person in Northern America and Western Europe, and maybe Japan, China, one person could be using more energy than maybe a village in Africa because some of the areas are quite scantily lit up, which means the energy consumption there is very low compared to other parts of the world. Right, which brings me, I think that's the map I've been looking at, which brings me to this website, which I've looked at, the Global Energy Statistical Yearbook for 2016. It shows that, for example, here, okay, United States in 2015 used 2,196 metric tons. Okay, so that's about 90%, and that's the same because that's also part of the United States. Then Brazil, okay, using 35%, South Africa 18%, Nigeria 18%. Okay, so South Africa 18%, 138 metric tons, and Nigeria 134 metric tons. And if you think about it, these are the two countries which are alternating between number one and number two in terms of the size of the economy. But we also know that Egypt, which is 11%, okay, had some point been one in the. In fact, Egypt is in the top four, including Algeria. Algeria 7%, 11%. And then when you come here, you've got Turkey, the Middle East is catching up. You've got India is catching up. Australia, 83%. China is quite big, 55%. And Japan, 8%. I'm surprised Japan is 8%. And Russia, 70%. And then the United Kingdom, 10%. Okay. So you can see that the countries, for example, China is the highest. In 2015 was the highest, followed by the United States at 2,096 metric tons. And India was third, Russia fourth, Japan fifth, Germany. And you can see these are the most developed countries in the world. And China has surpassed the United States, or is about to surpass the United States in terms of being the biggest economy in the world. So it's important. And I just wanted to use some kind of, see now I'm able to zoom in. I couldn't zoom in on the other one. Let me try again this time. I can zoom in on that, but I can't zoom in on this one. Maybe, there you go. Now I can zoom in. Okay, so that's the map I was trying to show you. So I've used this, okay, to put some figures behind my concerns that Africa is not doing enough. Okay, Africa is not doing enough to harness as much energy as possible and use that energy to develop its economies. You see, we cannot talk about economic policies which exclude energy generation and distribution, because without energy, we are still relying on manpower. You know, the world has moved from manpower. In fact, it moved from manpower before we domesticated the horses and other domestic animals. Before we domesticated them, all we had was manpower. And then from manpower, we developed horsepower. Okay, because we had domesticated animals. Then after that, we had, after manpower, we now have the power of fossil fuels, you know. So we've got hydroelectric power, we've got solar power, we've got energy from fossil fuels, okay. So we greatly increase the amount of energy we're using. But, you know, people have gone nuclear now. We've got nuclear power. Some of these countries are using nuclear power stations, you know, like Japan, France. France is right there with 246 metric tons, you know, and these countries, you need energy if you're going to run an economy, if you're going to grow an economy. Economic growth and development does not come without making sure that you invest in energy. So I'd urge African countries to consider investing more in energy. We've got solar energy. We've got enough sunlight to harness solar energy from some of our energy needs, you know, like just lighting. Imagine if the whole of Africa had just one solar panel per household, and then we feed that solar energy into the grid. You know, we could generate quite a lot of energy. Okay, so the whole point of the video was to do that, to encourage African countries, encourage African policymakers to consider or to put energy at the top of the agenda. I know that Ghana, which is somewhere here, I know that Ghana has done, maybe there, has done quite a lot in terms of increasing the number of power generating stations, and the rest of the country, the rest of the world, of the African continents needs to do that. Okay. So thank you for listening. I will catch you in the next video.